There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Can you hear me? Merry
I
Christmas.
can.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So you survived Christmas. It's over, and we got 364 more days to recoup.
I think as I get older, I learn how to circumvent the things I don't like about Christmas in a tactful way, which works good for me.
Can you teach me, really? Because I just can't, I honestly I don't like it no more. I just don't. I sit there, and as we're older now, and you have children, right?
Yeah, too.
Yeah. So it's like, do you have like the constant stress of feeling like I didn't do enough? It's like, I need to do more.
You do. I know. I used to feel that way until my kids got a little older, and then I just give them money.
You know what? Like my kids are older now too, and like I have a 20-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old daughter, and with the 20-year-old, yeah, it's kind of like it's not that bad. It's with the 13-year-old that I stress more over because I feel like
it's
not
the
enough.
younger ages you want them to be blown away by what you've done for them. I know. I was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's weird because I guess it's the generation now because they're not really into things that you can blow them away with.
Right. And they know. It seems like they know more than we do about what's hip and what's new and technology and all that stuff. So it's like my daughter's always showing me new stuff on like social media, and she's like, "You don't know this. You don't know the short keys. You don't know." I'm just like, okay, no, I don't. Enlighten me.
Or how about do you get you don't know this YouTuber?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know this guy? Oh yeah, he's the biggest thing, and he's gone viral. I'm like, oh, had no idea.
Yeah.
He lives 3 blocks away, by the way.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. Yeah.
You need to go over there and tell him to put you in one of his videos to help you expose you more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to use everybody. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. So.
Yeah, that's a whole new world, and it's that whole that's what my 13-year-old. That's what she does. Like is
she does
watch YouTube and video games. Like that's all she cares about. And I just sit there and scratch my head like, what the hell's going on here?
And where is this going to lead her down the road, I wonder,
That's scary. That's even scarier.
Yeah, that was something I always thought about with my kids is like, where is this going to take them? Sometimes it's a phase, and sometimes it leads them into a career or whatever. You just never know. So. Right. Yeah. But it's fun.
Scary world. Scary world.
It is a scary world. Yeah, for sure.
But you get to put that scariness in the music.
I do, yeah. I do get to put the scariness in the music, yeah. I'm a little bit creepy myself, so I guess it's not super hard for me.
Oh, man. So, creepiness. You have an interesting story. Let's face it. I mean, you did some time in prison.
Yeah.
That's creepy in itself.
It is. Yeah. That was. But honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Up until I went to prison, I was a fairly unscathed human being that really had no prior experiences to draw from.
Wow.
I know that sounds kind of like, oh, that's great. You were really you were well taken care of. But I was so well taken care of that most of where my mindset would be for writing was in, fabricated imagery instead of real life experience. And, so there's a balance. You got to have a balance if you want to really do real stuff. So
now, were you doing
need life experience.
Music? Were you doing music before?
Prior?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I realized early on in my music career that I needed money. I needed as much money as I could get because it's expensive, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make the almighty dollar to, push my music career. So I rolled the dice. I was willing to give anything for it. Deal with the devil, whatever.
Right. So you made a deal with
crazy,
the devil,
but I would have done anything. Huh?
So you made a deal with the devil and got caught. Sounds like.
Got caught. That's right. Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, but go ahead.
With that, like, as you were in there doing your time, like, were you putting together, like, in your head, like, musical groundwork and starting to write music while in there?
Sure, because I was in a federal institution. It was a federal crime. So,
wow.
For the time I was in there, they have a lot of amenities available for art and music, and I just started writing. I wrote a good portion of what's in there during that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like that's a place where you're really going to find yourself. So I mean, and one of the songs I was reading about and listening to on there, I mean, I'm guessing that's one of the songs you wrote in there was "I Love You."
Yeah. A bit of a tribute to my family if I was to pass away.
That's so deep. Like, I can't even imagine, because it's funny because, like, on our show here, we do a live show on Thursday nights, and my one of my co-hosts, we do from time to time, we'll do like these little countdown lists of music, and we'll throw out a category like, top 3 songs that remind you of your mom or your dad or this situation in life or whatever. And like 3 months ago, he said to me, he goes, dude, let's do the top 3 songs you want played at your funeral. And I couldn't do it. Like,
oh, wow.
it was so like deep and scary, and just was like freaking me out. Like, I couldn't do it. So you turned around and you wrote a song about you, like you're saying, in tribute to yourself, to your family, after you would pass away, if that would happen. Like, I can't imagine.
Sure. Yeah, it it stirs up a lot of emotions, and I realized, thank God I realized, is that I love art. I do. I love art, and I love it to a fault almost.
Sure.
And I really I hate fake stuff. I despise it heavily. So everything that I do, I try to do it as real as I possibly can. I don't know if you've seen any of the hanging pictures that we did, but of some of the photography we did, I was like, everybody wanted these promo pics and band pics and whatnot. I'm like, you have you guys hanging me from a tree. That's real enough, right?
Oh, cow!
It generated a lot of interest, no doubt, and a lot of people. Some people wouldn't even listen to the album initially because they thought it was so gruesome that I was being hung from a tree that they didn't want to take a listen. That's all right too, though.
Well, I mean, that's a good way to freak people out and get a little bit of notoriety, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no bad publicity at all. So I'm good with either.
Holy cow! Like, what did your family think when they saw those pictures?
Oh, they hated it. They absolutely hated it. And they're like, it's so gross. You look so bloated and gross. Because to do it, I was in a safety harness, no doubt. But the brunt of the weight was still on my neck because the safety harness pushes you forward.
Okay.
So the weight of your body does pull on your neck and basically shut your windpipe off a bit. So you start to it closes a lot of veins off. So you start to bloat up and get all weird looking really quick. So
holy cow.
So yeah, they were not. They're like, what if something happens? What if the harness breaks? I'm like, well then, throw some flowers on my grave. Whatever.
Oh. So I'm hoping there was only one take that needed done of this, one attempt at this to get enough shots.
Well, so it would have been that way, but a police officer drove by and saw me hanging from the tree. So it complicated things for a minute or two, but we got it done. You know, they frown upon that stuff, definitely. So
yeah, I can imagine.
It was fun though, honestly. I had a great time.
Now who gave you more of the flack? Was it the family or the police?
The family. God, my old lady just hated it. She thought it was just the grossest, weirdest thing ever. She wanted nothing to do with it. And she's like, I don't think you should use those pictures. I'm like, dude, it looks so real though, right? She's like, yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm like, that's cool. Edgy stuff's cool. It drives the machine. I love that, you know. And that's that's the cool thing about art. There's no wrong or right. You just do what you feel.
Sure, you know, it's from the heart. As long as it's from the heart and it's real, like you said.
Yeah, you know, if you believe in it, and if someone hates it, God, it just makes me want to do it more. You know, I thrive on that, so I'm all for it.
No, like the band members were they encouraging this? Did you think to yourself oh shit, they don't care if I die?
You know, I did have to kind of talk them into it. They loved the idea, but they really came from a safety standpoint. They thought it was reckless. And I was like, hey, I got this Cabela's harness. I got some really good rope. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. We'll have a ladder there. You know, if something happens, just get me down really quick. It's cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was able to talk them into it nonetheless, yeah.
Oh, that's
what we do for rock and roll, right?
Right on. Right on. It's all for rock and roll.
It's all for rock and roll.
Yeah. Now, actually, your guitar player, I mean, he's a real young dude.
He's really young, yeah. Super young.
How'd you guys go?
So I used to be in a national band, The Flood. We toured with Static X and a whole bunch of other bands and whatnot. And he came and tried out for the band because we were going through guitar players left and right. I just hadn't found the right person. And he came and tried out, but as my band members thought that he was, well, one, he was winning blues contests at 14 years old. So he's really young and he's really, really good. So people are like, you know, if you got any kind of ego at all and you have somebody that young and good in your band, you're not really going to want them there. Which, you know, ego holds everybody back from doing anything beautiful. So basically they talked me out of having him in the band specifically because he was too young. So, seeing his talent and knowing how good he was, I started Casualty of God with him. I was like, hey, this kid's great. And he has zero ego, which is odd at that age.
Right.
So I had enough ego for 10 people during that time. So, finding somebody who didn't was very cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I started. Casualty of God is through Cody.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how about with the album you guys did? You actually you worked with Alex Kane.
Yeah, Alex is a really good friend of mine. Love that guy.
It's funny because he actually he was my first interview I ever did back when he was doing Annie Product.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was actually Karen hooked it up, and they were out here on tour. They came to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and went out there and got to meet him and did the interview backstage. And I'll never forget. I was shitting myself. It was the first interview I did, and I was just like, oh fuck, okay. But yeah, super cool dude. I'll never forget that.
He's a sweet dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from being a bit cynical, he's amazing. I'd be cynical too, though. No, he's awesome. Yeah, and in fact, that album wouldn't have happened without him. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now with the you were saying you were in the band The Flood beforehand, did some national touring and stuff like that. Now, was that all before the whole prison thing, or after, or?
Right after. Yeah, that was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That was after.
Okay, so it
Yep.
wasn't like you were in prison and then you put like Casualty of the God together in your head in prison then.
No, actually, I didn't use any of the songs I'd written in The Flood for. I didn't use any of the art that I did that in prison for that band. I used it for Casualty of God.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, there was something that told me that particular chapter in my life wasn't the right thing for what I wanted to do. And so I just kept it separated, which I think served me well.
Did you think maybe of just doing like Chris Renshaw at any time, or just you knew you were going to go into like the next project as put a band together and it would be a band type situation?
No, I had been putting all the pieces together of Casualty of God really early on. I just, how can I explain it? I didn't have the true intent of my art mapped out until I started Casualty of God. So all these little things I was coming up with during the time, I just kept saving them until it kind of revealed itself to me. I know it sounds kind of metaphysical and weird, but I mean, that's kind of how it was. I just kept writing. And I think as an artist myself, I hadn't fully come into myself yet. I was a really late bloomer for whatever reason. And the things that I was hearing and the music and whatnot, nobody was playing it. So I was like, oh, well, no one's playing it, so it's not happening yet. So it'll happen. And it did. And eventually it all came to light. So.
Now, when you're doing something like that, though, I mean, you like your start basically, hiding things for yourself and putting plans together for yourself. I mean, you kind of like are also saying to yourself, like, like the end is near with what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I did know, mainly from the people's own intentions in the band, that it wasn't going to survive.
Right.
The other thing is you're only as good as your weakest link.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't matter how much you love somebody, you're still only as good as your weakest link. So I knew it was doomed to fail at some point.
Right.
Because I wanted something better. Right. So, yeah. But honestly, I never thought I'd be able to assemble the people that I have now. That didn't actually factor. I, at one point, thought that me and Cody would be out there playing this stuff to backing tracks, just him and I. That actually was the original intent.
Really?
Yeah. You've got Gene Hoglan on the album. I really didn't anticipate having somebody that was as good as what Dylan Bennett or Gene Hoglan is on the album. I thought for sure that we would be playing the backing tracks or doing something, because I wanted to pull it off and have it sound cool,
Sure.
Even if I didn't have the people, I was like, we'll still make this entertaining. We'll do our best, and we'll travel light because, honestly, it's a lot easier to bring 2 people than it is 4.
Right.
So that was originally my thought. So, but that worked itself out. Yeah. Weird, huh?
I mean that right there, it kind of shows you like truly the struggle of, people think to yourself, especially nowadays, like, oh, being in a band is so easy and putting together music is so easy nowadays and this and that. But that right there shows you It's really not. As simple as it is because of the technology, the putting those.
You still got to write good songs, and you got to keep and you got to keep it together. And I'm married to these people. It is absolutely a relationship. You got to kill each other with kindness, and you got to be good to each other. And the better you are to each other, the better the music is. Yeah. And people pick up on that stuff. People can tell if you hate each other. The music suffers. The art suffers. It's just it's not a path to go if you want any kind of endurance. Now,
how about you actually had like classical opera training for vocals, doing that and then going into metal. Like, was that the plan? Like,
so. I had the same teacher, Lane Staley from Alice in Chains had, Ann Wilson, the Maestro David Kyle was his name. Amazing teacher. And so the best way to explain it is that opera singing is the most technical and challenging of all singing, okay?
Okay.
And if you learn all the ground-based principles that are attached to that style, all the other styles of singing will come much easier if you've been taught correctly. So that was the idea behind learning from, somebody so well educated, is that I would have all the tools I needed to do what I'm doing now.
Wow.
So 5 years of school.
Holy cow.
5 years, 3 days a week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, it was intense. And honestly, I didn't even really, it took another 5 years for it just to even soak in and start really retaining and have it become, an extension of myself. Before it was just like I understood what he was saying, but I wasn't exactly applying it like I should. But that just takes practice. You just got to play constantly.
Yeah, there was one song that like you can hear. What song was it? It was towards the end of the song. Slow Death.
Mhm.
And towards the end, you get the singing you're doing. I'm like, you can definitely hear there the training that came into place there.
Right. Yeah. Now it's more like it's kind of like it's an extension of myself. It's
sure.
it keeps evolving constantly. This new album we've been working on, it's been crazy. Like I'm every single song, you're recreating the same feeling every single time, hoping to get closer to the feeling that you initially felt. That's the way I explain the art that I do, art that we do. And we've never been closer to replicating what I always hoped and intended for it to sound like. Which it makes it really fun.
Or really difficult or trying.
It's become easier because it's almost like like you're turning a station, on the radio, like you're flipping through and you're hitting all the different wavelengths and frequencies.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. When you get a solid group of people together that all have a common interest and you start honing in the frequency, it doesn't get more difficult. It may sound more difficult, but it actually, in reality, is easier because you're all resonating on the same frequency.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, it kind of like the band The Butcher Babies, like that's a band like I say to myself, like you can hear like, and I've interviewed them a few years ago, and the question I have for them if I get the chance to get them back on, is like, has it gotten easier? Because you can hear the growth of them over the years in their songwriting, and like they have some songs that are like, that's just a freaking radio hit right there, and then they have these ones that'll just like kick you in the balls and kick your ass, and it's just like, is it easier now for them to write those radio-friendly songs? And I guess it's kind of like that for, people with their art. Does it get easier in certain aspects?
Right. It does, especially if you have a solid group of people. Because what happens is you start picking up on cues. You're like, oh, that formula worked. Okay, well, what was it about that formula that we put into that piece that grew so exponentially? Why did that happen? And then you pick it apart, and then you figure out, that form. That's why, a lot of people hate this about music, but it's something that I grew to love. Is that a lot of people that have their big favorite band, Pink Floyd, Tool, Tea Party, whoever it is that you love. Many of the song structures sound very similar. And the reason being is that they found a formula that came the closest to projecting that feeling that they're forever trying to capture. So you write from that premise, hoping to slowly build on it.
Right.
And what's interesting is some bands or some artists, you'll hear they've got 10 songs and they've got one that was just magical, and then you don't ever hear another one again.
Yeah.
Which is an anomaly that happens if you didn't quite know how it happened. If you didn't pick it apart and you didn't look at it and find out what made it tick, then it was luck, basically.
Right.
But for the bands that really figure it out, they figure out the formula and they run with it. And it's good. It makes life a lot easier, I will say.
That's a really interesting way to really look at it and break it down for, like, all these people throughout the years who've had these one-hit wonders, and people who have had those first hit and they are able to keep building and build a career. And people ask that eternal question, like, why was there no more hits? And I guess that's kind of like probably the first time I've ever heard an answer to that. Is like they just never figured out the formula to keep. They
never really
building.
knew to begin with. That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man.
I've spent a lot of time, had a lot of time to think.
Now, how about over your career, you've had music put in in TV and film and all, but now you have a UFC fighter using one of your songs. Like, how different is that for you?
Well, it's cool, because one, he's an athlete, so having an athlete as a friend as well as somebody that you're working on art with is cool, because I get to run with him all the time. So that's awesome.
Oh, cool.
It keeps me in shape, So we were good friends before I was doing art with him. And it's really cool that I was able to step out of my own comfort zone and write about something that I would probably never write about. Like, I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in hitting people, ever. So getting in his shoes and, using the terminology and learning about it and going and watching the fights, just gave me a whole new world to dive into. A similar thing happened when I wrote a song for Saw 6.
Okay.
And they said, just go wild with it. Just do whatever you want. I'm like, go wild with it. Oh, okay. So I wrote a song about a serial killer, So it's cool because when you do that, it just completely gets you out of your element, and you can write about something you would never think about.
Right.
or if you are thinking about it, you're keeping it buried down pretty deep, hoping that it doesn't ever surface.
So now there's like an interesting story too in your bio where that makes me wonder now, what hurt worse, you hanging yourself for a photo shoot or getting run over by a car?
Yeah, that was a really surreal day, getting run over by a car, and then so we were having bus problems that day, and I'm a fairly mechanical person. I love building cars and building bikes. It's a hobby of mine.
Okay.
I've done it since I was a kid. And the knuckleheads on the bus, they couldn't effectively run the bus to save their lives if it was the last thing they had to do. So they kept saying, "Oh, there's something wrong with the bus. There's something wrong with the bus. It's broken or something like that." I would go, "Hey, did you turn the Jake brake off?" They're like, "Oh, there's no way we left that on." So I walk on board the bus. It's sitting there spitting and sputtering. Sounds like it's going to blow up. I said, "Hey, next time, turn the Jake brake off." And I walked off, and I was like, I got to get away from you guys. So they're just creating chaos, And we've got a show to play in Missoula, Montana. It's at the Wilma Theater. It's a big show, and everyone's just complaining about the bus. So I go for a walk. And my mindset when I went for the walk was, I'm gonna calm down. I want to punch these guys, but I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna calm down. I'm not gonna be mad at anybody. So I'm actually paying attention to all the crosswalks. Have you ever done that where like you're angry and so you get extra cautious?
Okay, yeah.
About stuff? So I'm like following all the traffic signs. Like when it says walk, I walk. It says there's not enough time left, I don't even go across. So I'm in the process of crossing, and a dude runs the red light on a left-hand turn, and I get run over. And I'm just like, really? I was just more angry and irritated. So I saw what happened. He was on his phone. He dropped his phone out of his hand. And he went down to grab it and turned the corner and ran me over at the same time. I was just like, really? Wow. You just never know. Yeah. Never been hit by a car before until that day.
Holy cow.
Still played the show. It was great, though. It was a killer show. I had a lot of adrenaline going. The day was just a complete wreck. So it worked.
Now, did you have to walk back to the club where you guys were the place where you going to play, or did you get a ride?
I did. I didn't even have him take me in the aid car. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going back to the bus. I'll call you if I get nauseous.
Holy cow!
I went to the ER the next day, but yeah, it was quite a day. The show must go on.
Man. The show must go on, right?
Yeah.
All in the name of rock and roll, like we said earlier.
All in the name of rock and roll. That's right. That's how you do it.
So, now, what's the plans for 2018 for you guys? You guys going to do any touring, working on new music, or?
Well, I wanted to be the emperor of the universe. That was my number one goal. But I would settle for taking over the planet.
There you go. Start small, work your way bigger.
That's right. You got to start somewhere. Really, I think what we're going to be doing is touring as much as we possibly can with this album. And in the process, start tracking the next one. And just, just get crazy good at playing this stuff. That's the thing, just being a well-oiled machine so people, it's nice because people now, we've got a few fans that have seen us more than once. I'm not even joking. When people came and saw us for the first couple shows, they just stood there and looked at us like we were nuts. I'm like, this stuff isn't that weird. Why are you just standing there looking at you? You're not cheering. You're not saying anything. Are we really playing it bad? I'm not sure what's going on. And then we started getting feedback, and I'm like, oh, you just don't know how to react. I get it. All right. I guess that works for me. So people are starting to react, though, which is cool. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's good.
It is.
It seems like, you know what, though, it goes back to, again, like we were talking earlier on, like the new generation. Like, when I go out to shows, I kind of see that. Like, even though if it's music, or like the other night I went to a comedy show, it's like, it seems like people don't know how to react anymore. Like, they just are like expressionless. Like, they're like scared to show emotion or anything anymore.
Yeah, they're like zombies.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's the weirdest thing, and it seems more frequent now with all forms of art than just with music. Like I notice it all over the place. People are really not easily affected.
right.
I think because they're always so stimulated to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the only thing it's the only thing that makes sense. So, I think at this point, if people saw a big giant mothership come out of the sky, I honestly don't think it'd be that big of a deal. I mean, they'd be excited, no doubt, and there would be noise, but I really don't think it would be that big of a surprise.
They'd be too busy taking pictures for Snapchat or something, or Facebook Live.
Snapchat. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Did you see this? Oh, my God. I knew it.
Oh, man. And so, actually, you guys are playing... No, this is a weird combo. New Year's Eve at the Whiskey with LA Guns and Pussycat. And I was kind of thinking that, like, the crowd might be kind of, like, not know how to react to you guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird show for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to play, no doubt. Because it'll be our first show out of town. Actually, we haven't gone anywhere yet. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be a strange show. Should be fun though.
Absolutely.
It'll be extra weird. Extra weird is always good with me.
There you go. It's time to get weird.
And people are, you know what? Honestly, people are dying for to be moved. That's what people want. Whether they know it or not, people want to be moved by something. The mundane is the mundane. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree. People need to be moved.
People need to be moved, and they're looking for some type of new renaissance in the art industry. So hopefully we'll do our best to make some fun stuff happen for people.
Nice. Cool. So where should we send everybody to like you, love you, follow you, buy the music, spread the word?
You can go to eBay, Casualty of God, eBay. You can go to iTunes, casualtyofgod.com has lots of info, Facebook, Casualty of God on Facebook, SoundCloud, anything you can think of, I think we're there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's how we have to do it now. Just everywhere that people can go, just be on there.
Yeah, you can't give them any. You need to give. Everybody wants every option. That's sort of how it is.
Yep.
So give them every option.
That's it.
That works for me.
Solves the problem.
Yeah.
Dude, well, this was great talking to you, man. Really nice conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice talking to you as well.
You too, man. And I hope, hopefully, maybe you guys will get out here on the East Coast, come out there to Philly, and cheesesteaks on me.
I love Allentown. I'm coming by that area, and we're going everywhere. It's happening.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yep. For sure.
Well, hopefully I'll see you in 18 then.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Sounds good, man. Take care, Chris. Thanks for everything, and I'll let you know when I'll be airing this.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Yep, you too.